Very good afternoon. Uh, Today's the most beautiful topic that I selected, that is hyperglycemia, and I will be conducting my hyperglycemia class into three segments. Okay, because uh, at first we have to know about what is hyperglycemia. Then we'll be proceeding the roles and regulations of blood glucose level, and third we are going to deal with these drugs, what is called anti-hyperglycemic drugs. Very good. Now try to understand first of all one things, that is what is hyperglycemia. Okay, so as you all know that hyperglycemia is defined the increased blood glucose level. As you all know, hyperglycemia is defined as a increased blood glucose level. All of you agree with me? Okay. Now, uh, what is it? I mean to say that what does it actually mean? Now, understand very carefully. Okay. Suppose this is a cell. Suppose this is a cell. Uh, I expect that you all know what is the metabolism. I expect you all know what is called the metabolism. Okay, what is metabolism? Metabolism is a yeah. What is metabolism? Metabolism is the chemical reaction. Metabolism is a biochemical reaction that is going on continuously inside your cellular machinery. Okay, I am conducting it when the term metabolism, I mean to say it is a normal cellular metabolism. I am not discussing the drugs metabolism, that we will be discussing in the next part. But today I am discussing only the cellular metabolism. How is it going to happen and how the mechanism is there. Okay, very good. So cellular metabolism is the oxidation of glucose. What is the cellular metabolism? Cellular metabolism is the oxidation of glucose. What is that? It is oxidation of glucose mainly. Very carefully understand. It is, I am saying that it is mainly oxidation of glucose. But is there other substances that leads to take place in metabolism? Yes, obviously. That is a fact that we are dealing with later with the beta oxidation. So what am I saying? That is, we will be talking later as a beta oxidation. Okay, what is that? Beta oxidation. It is a fat metabolism. Yeah. It is occurred also in the cellular machinery. Okay. So now, before approaching, I am just knocking your attention on the point that how the glucose is being oxidized inside your cellular machinery. Now carefully understand how it is going on. Okay. First of all, we have to know what the cellular organelle is, that is present inside the cellular metabolism. The cellular organelle, what is present inside the cell that takes part in the metabolism. What is that? That is two factors. What are they? One is mitochondria. You all know what is mitochondria. I am not elaborating the anatomical structure of mitochondria. You all know the mitochondria is a cellular organelle that is composed of two bilayer cells. Two bilayer containing cellular organelles. That is primarily responsible for aerobic oxidation of glucose. What am I saying? Mitochondria is responsible for aerobic oxidation. Very carefully listen. Mitochondria is responsible for aerobic oxidation. That means with the utilization of nascent oxygen. Very carefully understand that what is the role, fundamental role of mitochondria. The mitochondria is responsible to oxidize aerobically the cellular fuel, just like glucose and other substances like fat, proteins, carbohydrates, etc., etc., and etc. Okay, now what is aerobic oxidation? What is aerobic metabolism? Aerobic metabolism is a one type of aerobic metabolism. Oxidation is one type of catabolic oxidation. As you I expect you know what is catabolic and what is anabolic. Okay, I am just briefly discussing what is catabolic and what is anabolic. uh, Carefully understand. Suppose a reaction is going on inside the cellular machinery and the product is produced, the weight of the cell is increased. That is called anabolic type of metabolism. But aerobic oxidation is a one type of catabolism. What does it mean? Catabolism means the breakdown of cellular fuel. Understand? In catabolism, energy is liberated. Energy is liberated. But in anabolism, energy is consumed. Okay, very carefully understand these concepts. Okay, I think you are familiar with this all concepts. I am now going to the further approachment. Okay, very carefully listen. Very carefully listen. I am today's topic is discussing with the hyperglycemia, that is increased blood sugar level in এইখানেই একটা পয়েন্ট আছে। আচ্ছা, আমি এতক্ষণ বলছিলাম hyperglycemia is a increased blood sugar level. Okay, so where does it found increased blood sugar level? You all know that is inside your vessels, blood vessels. Inside your blood vessels, glucose concentration is increased. Glucose concentration is increased inside your blood vessels. Glucose concentration is increased, continuously increased, or it elevates its level from fasting normal range. What is the normal range of fasting blood sugar? That is 80 to 110. Okay, and that is fasting. And what is PP? Postprandial 140 to 180. That concentration should be maintained inside your systemic circulation. Then the person is healthy and he is not undergoing any hyperglycemic condition. Blood, when it elevates 80 to 100 and PP 140 to 180 range up, then it is called hyperglycemia. Okay, so what does it mean? What I mean to say, so it is good na মানে আমাদের সেলের মধ্যে to have metabolized a cellular fuel, it is necessary to have a glucose in the systemic circulation. That is why the glucose have to enter in the cellular machinery and get oxidized. Understand? Now, that is a vital point. Now carefully listen, what's the vital point it is. Glucose, I am saying that there is presence of glucose. Glucose always a hydrophilic substances, as you all know. When we take the Glucon-D, we use to water to dissolve the glucose, but not the wine. Understand? When we use the for refreshment juice that contains glucose, we always dissolve in water, not the wine. So that is why the glucose is a hydrophilic substances. But the contravention is there. What is the contravention? That is the cell membrane that is present outside the cell, that is lipophilic in nature. What am I trying to say? Glucose is hydrophilic, and the lipid bilayer membrane, cellular membrane is lipophilic. Lipophilic means oil loving. Hydrophilic means water loving. Understand? So what does it mean? That means, simple point, that means glucose cannot enter into the cellular machinery by passive diffusion. Glucose এমনি pass করতে পারবে না. Never. It is never be possible to have passed into the cellular machinery bypassing the lipid bilayer membrane. It is impossible to glucose by acting as a self machinery. Okay, ও নিজে পারবে না. So there is a complex machinery present in outer the cell membrane. Complex machinery is present. What is that? Okay, so I am discussing the hyperglycemia into the three parts. Okay, now I am just today's class I am just going to discuss the pathology. What does it actually mean? Okay, so we are able to know what is the actual pathological concept of this entire factors. Okay, so why the patient feels faint when he falls in hyperglycemia? Why? Because the glucose, the entire amount of glucose present in the systemic circulation, and it is not able to get entered in the cellular machinery to have oxidized and liberated the energy. Understand? Yes, it fails to have passive diffusion into the cellular machinery automatically. সে অটোমেটিক্যালি পাস করবে না, ঠিক আছে? কিন্তু যদি এটা লাইপোফিলিক সাবস্টেন্সেস হতো, আমি যদি বলি ইফ আই এম টকিং অ্যাবাউট যা জেনারেল অ্যানাস্থেটিক ড্রাগস, আমি বললাম জেনারেল অ্যানাস্থেটিক্স, ইট ইজ হাইলি লাইপোফিলিক ইন নেচার. very carefully listen. General anesthetics is a highly lipophilic in nature and it cross the cellular machinery by passive diffusion because it is the oil loving and it dissolves into the oil present in the cellular bilayer membrane and get dissolved and get entered into the cellular machinery and produce its action. But in case of glucose, it fails to get entered in the cellular machinery. It is the vital point. So the increasing blood glucose level inside the systemic circulation, inside the blood, is increased. So it will affect your further physiological system by destroying your malfunctioning your nephron. Okay, nephroনের মধ্যে এত গ্লুকোজ যদি চলে আসে ও থাকবে কি করে? It has not to be soaked out easily because the glucose concentration is increased into the blood. So that is why hyperglycemia is the condition is there. Okay, so today's class we just understand what is the pathological concept of hyperglycemia. Next day we will discuss about the entire pharmacological process of hyperglycemia, and day after the next day we'll be discussing about the anti-hyperglycemic drugs. Okay, thank you. I wish you all the best. Keep your study hard and keep it up. Thank you. Good night.